Well,
Hold on.
alright. Welcome. Well, I guess not welcome yet. Chase isn't ready. Well, welcome to my stream, where today we're going to be talking about some borderline hentai, which is just anime, except there's either the whole anime, or in some cases we'll be talking about parts of certain animes. Could be
Those will
considered
typically
hentai.
be at the end of the video.
Wait, I'm inviting you again.
Okay, well.
Okay,
You know.
so we're starting out with an anime where the whole thing is pretty much like borderline hentai. Then we move from that onto kind of like, you could call it an honorable mention, where it's like the anime mainly is just an anime, but there's parts in it where it's kind of like, that's borderline hentai. And that's kind of how this is going to work.
Borderline hentai episode number 1. High School DxD. Classic.
Yep. I haven't watched it, Chase has, so we're gonna...
If you want to, dude, you probably should. Just so you know, like, half the shit I'm talking about.
Well, like, you could talk about it. I'm gonna act like the people who would watch this, which will be no one, by the way.
You never know. You never know.
Which will be no one. Who don't know anything
So
about what we're
degrading.
talking about. They're only watching it because it says borderline hentai. And listen, if you're that person, good for you, right? Like,
that one guy
I
that just
congratulate
searches
you.
for hentai on YouTube and you just see borderline hentai and then it just tells you what the anime is called. This is for you, one
Good
guy.
for
This
you.
is for you.
We're doing it for you, and only
Yes.
you, because you're the only person who's gonna watch this on either of our channels, and we're proud of you for being that brave soul to do this.
What the heck, Travis? You said you weren't gonna do the series as well. Like you were gonna participate, but you weren't gonna stream it.
Oh, I already got one first. God.
Like,
I swear, if it's Edgar, I'm gonna be mad.
like actually,
All right, Chase,
what
take it away.
changed your mind?
Listen, if we're gonna be doing this, we gotta do it together. All right.
Yeah, it's a partnership. Yeah, I know.
This is a partnership.
It's a partner series. Okay, this is a me and Travis only thing. I should actually make the party private then. Give me a second.
There's gonna be some dark shit happening.
I
Jeez, you're supposed
don't
to
need
start
any
it,
randoms
man.
walking in and ruining this. Yes, High School DxD. That is the anime that is borderline hentai for today. And after that, after we go into detail and talk about this one, quick little summary about it, if you can even call it a summary. Travis is gonna point out all the things he thinks is borderline hentai
All right,
slightly
Chase will
from
mention
SAO.
it. It's not as bad. I will admit that. I'll talk about that later.
I highly doubt it, but Travis seems to believe so, so whatever.
There's some where it's kind of like, okay. Cause like where they specifically zoom in on
No, Travis. That's
right,
at the
you're
end.
You're right.
We'll clarify
you do
at the end.
You do you. You do you.
Yes, I will do me. Thank you
Then
very
go.
much.
Then do it. Then do it.
Yes. High School DxD.
I'll just pay attention to the game and listen to you.
Yeah, that's okay, buddy. High School DxD. I just rewatched it actually. Not the entire thing. I didn't rewatch the entire thing, but I'm starting to rewatch some of it as of late, just so that way I get a quick little refresher. I wanted to try to watch all of High School DxD before doing this video, but it's not possible right now. So, first up, High School DxD.
Yep.
Mainly, the main character, Issei Hyodo, is just a pervert. He's got 3 other friends who are also perverts, and all they do is try to get some tit action. They literally fucking... one of the first things you'll see when you watch this shit is they find a peek hole into the girls' freaking locker room. And this anime, depending on where you're watching it, they won't even censor this shit.
Oh god.
Like you'll just see pure tits and
Oh
everything.
god.
It's great. You know?
Alright.
Fuck, I'm out of stamina.
Hey.
So one of the first that's like the first thing that happens, right?
Yeah.
So once after that, you find out that this character really wants a girlfriend and shit because you know he's a loner and this guy's a bitch. But god damn, I don't know, man. I'll tell you one thing. It kind of I can't really say whether or not it goes too far or not. Just oh god, really it's definitely there for borderline hentai. It's obviously there. Like fucking shit.
Well, you need to describe why, Chase.
Listen, mate. First off, let me just go in order for the story here. This main character, he wants a girlfriend, right? I said that. Okay, this guy's dead. But this random chick he doesn't even know, ends up asking him out, and he goes on a date. After that first date, he finds out that she's a fallen angel, and this is kind of turns into a religious thing, sort of almost. How in this anime, there's not only God and the devil, there's also fallen angels, which are basically people who are angels that still want to serve God, but they live in the underworld. So there's confusion, you know.
They're in hell.
Not saying they actually, yeah.
So they're like in hell,
they want
except they want to serve God.
Yes, they want to.
Okay.
And then so that's just the first religion where you got the first three, right?
Yep.
There's also another one where the Norse gods, where you got Thor and Loki and all of them. You also have that. That's in here as well. So it's not just like this anime has like one religion in it. They're combining multiple religions into this anime to make the story.
Okay.
So he finds out that his girlfriend that he was dating is a fallen angel, but her mission was to kill him. So she does that. Once he dies, he gets revived as a demon because this like the hottest chick in his school turns out to be a devil, and her name is Rias Grammary. She's got crimson hair. I'm pretty sure there's an encounter with her before that happens. No, there is. There is most definitely an encounter with her before. He's just talking about how nice red hair is. Like, I don't understand what the fuck is up with red hair. Because honestly, red hair, not my thing. But, you know, whatever. So he gets revived, or resurrected, I'd say, as a demon, or devil, fuck. And he finds out that he has a superpower, or not a superpower, but a sacred gear. That's the word I was looking for. A sacred gear called the Boosted Gear, which is like one of the most OP ones there is in the game. And with the ability of his, he is destined to face another one with what I don't know what the sacred gear is called, but his sacred gear is the Red Dragon Emperor or some shit like that. I don't fucking remember. And then the guy he has to face is the White Dragon Emperor. So that's always nice for him. And the only problem with that is that you find out like season 2 I think it is, which is where I'm at. You find out that this guy is like overpoweredly strong. But fuck that shit, you know. Nobody cares. We're into some hentai here. So where to go with this? I'd say after all that shit where he gets resurrected, he ends up meeting this blonde chick named Azia, and she's a nun, but she actually ends up serving the fallen angels, so he gets caught in a mess with her, and he finds her actually really fucking hot, apparently. I don't know what's up with that, but like, I guess I can see it, although she's really petite. Which, I don't know how that can interest somebody. But he ends up saving her, and she, no, he ends up saving her from the chick that killed him, actually. So that's all kind of intertwined into one bit.
Interesting.
Completely. So he actually isn't the one that kills her, but he defeats her. He does defeat her in battle, but then she tries to fucking mess with his head, so he just has Rias kill her. And at this point in time, Azia had she had a sacred gear as well. Her sacred gear was stripped from her body, which just basically ended up killing her, you know. Since if your sacred gear gets ripped out of you, that's like taking their soul and fucking annihilating them. But Azia ends up getting reincarnated as a devil as well. Into the same family or clan that Issei is in. So he gets and she ends up actually living with Issei. So there's a few times throughout the anime where you'll see like there'll be shower scenes where Issei will be about to take a shower and he'll walk in on Azia and she'll just sit there. He literally immediately try to leave, and there's one part in particular that I'm remembering where he leaves, he covers his crotch and walks out. He's like, "Excuse me," and she was like, "I've never seen a man sting before," so it's like, oh shit. And he actually stayed because she asked, and they showered showered and shit together. So that turned yeah. Dude, bro, it's actually fun.
Yeah.
After that, we find out that Rias Grammary, the chick that's basically his master, lives with him as well. Well, she doesn't move until later. So, with that, she moves in, and the part I'm at right now is, what is it? I think it's, she lives with them. Oh yeah, people from the church. So workers, people who work for God. But what they don't know at this point in time in the anime is that God and the demon, or they do know that the Demon King is dead, but they didn't know God was dead. And that major angel was taking over, and was barely managing to suffice with it. But, you know, he finds out that his childhood friend, Irina, came back into town, and she's with the church. So, and she, there's, you know, everyone knows about the legendary weapon Excalibur, right? That's in this anime, and it was split into, like, what, 7 or 8 pieces, I think? So she and Irina is with one other person, and they both have fragments of Excalibur.
Nice.
So they come back, and we know that in the anime that devils are extremely vulnerable as getting even just a single cut, or not a single cut, a single scratch by a holy sword, such as the Excalibur, is freaking lethal to demons. So they end up having a mock battle, and at this time, Kiba, I think his name is, also a member of the house, is, when he saw a picture of Issei Hyodo with a holy sword, back when he was like a kid, he freaked out and remembered why he was gonna be a demon in the first place. Not just because Rhea saved him, but after he got reincarnated, he swore to himself that he would get revenge for his friends, because he was forcefully put into a church's experiment called the Holy Sword Project, which basically they experimented with kids trying to raise them to use holy swords, but the entire thing failed. So everyone involved was supposed to die, but Kiva managed to escape thanks to his friends and his frickin' just running away, because that's all he really could do. I mean, what is he, like? I don't know. He's a kid at the time, so there wasn't a whole lot he could do. But he's literally everyone she freaking saves is like about to be dead. Like especially Kiba, like he was laying in the snow, about to die. Then she saves him, but this is the point in time where it swaps from Issei to Kiba, mainly because this is like all his shit that's going on. Everything he was involved with and getting revenge is just now starting to come back.
Yep. Makes sense.
So, and they find out that the church had like, what is it? Some, I think it was 3, maybe more fragments of Excalibur were stolen by fallen angels. So they came into the town to investigate. That's what Irina is here for with one of the other church members. And they end up working with Rias, or technically not with Rias because this was just between an arrangement between Issei Konako, who's also a member of the house. What crap? I can't remember the guy's name. There's another guy that is involved. I can't remember his name though. And Kiba, where they agree to help the church, but they are only given the opportunity to destroy one of the Excalibur. But at the end of it, they end up getting into a fight with Kokabeel, who's like a leader class fallen angel. So he's like super fucking powerful and shit, and can literally obliterate everybody there. But he just decides to toy with them. And while that's mainly like the final fight of all this, right? And while that's going on, you have the Excalibur fragments that were stolen, which I think by this point they added up to like 5 in total. So 5 Excaliburs were being reformed into one sword, which is super fucking OP. Just because it's given so many abilities. But that happens, and then Kiba ends up getting his Balance Breaker, which is basically where he's able to fuse 2 opposing elements. So he has a demon sword that absorbs light, and he ends up making a holy demon sword.
Wait, so this is still Highschool DxD, right?
Yeah, this is. There's a lot of shit that happens in this, man. Like, there's 4 seasons, right. And I'm still talking about season 1. I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
It's.
Round 1.
Hi. Okay. I'm chilling out. Because you are weird. You're wearing a shirt that says I pooped today, okay? It's not empty.
You can't make fun of a man who's wearing a shirt that says I pooped today. That just means they're
cool.
Legendary.
Is it regular Mountain Dew?
Yes!
Okay, really? I literally blocked that. Okay, so you're gonna continue?
I got interrupted. What am I to do, huh?
Continue.
Okay,
or are you gonna let
that.
me start mine?
No, I'm not even close to that.
Oh my god.
I'm not gonna talk about the whole thing. Just season, because if I did talk about everything, then that would take forever.
Holy shit, this man.
Yeah, and it doesn't help that after season 4, that there's OVA episodes too. So that's extra shit, where it's not technically part of the story. Okay, buddy. And I just do my shit here. Where did I leave off at? I can't remember after my dad distracted me.
Something about a demon sword.
Oh, right. So, yeah. Kiba created a sword. Now, it's not like he's a blacksmith or anything. He just has the ability called Sword Birth, where you can just make swords at will. So he gains his Balance Breaker, and we find out that one of the members of the church find out that God died. So she ends up, and she knows she can't defeat Kokabeel, but they decide to try anyway. So the 2 swordsmen, Kiba, and what's the other? I believe the other girl's name is Zenobia. But she ends up releasing a special skill of hers, or it's not really a skill. She has a sword called Durandal, another legendary holy sword. She's like the only one that can. She's you know, the Holy Sword Project was meant to artificially raise people that could wield holy swords, right?
Yeah.
She is one of the few people that is purebred gene in her for wielding holy swords, so she has the ability to use Durandal, which is said to cut through anything.
Can we talk about how this one dude carried really hard? Just for a sec.
Like, holy crap. But the only reason, and they can't, those 2 can't defeat him, but they can offer some support. So while all this is, and then during the fight, Issei Hyodo, main character, obviously, he's charging his ability because his sacred gear, in order its main use is it gathers power every like 10 seconds. It doubles his power, I should say. And once he gains enough, he can just like unleash his super powerful attack and shit.
That's nuts.
Or he can transfer his ability to teammates, which he ends up doing to Rias Gremory, and she it becomes like on par as her older brother, who took over as Demon King, right?
Oh god.
Yeah. So his master is the little sister to the current Demon King, which is kind of holy shit. It puts him in a kind of a higher place than most people, even though he's a freaking servant,
Slave.
basically. But she gives him enough freedom, though. So it's not like he has to bend to her like every wish. She still gives him like all the freedom, even though they technically owe their lives to her. But at the end of the fight, they can't beat Kokobiu, the leader class. What actually ends up happening is near the end of the fight, the White Dragon Emperor shows up and defeats him with super easily and takes him back to the Fallen Angel leaders, like Azazel. He's the head honcho of all the Fallen Angels, and he ends up freezing Kokobiel in ice.
Wow.
It's horrifying.
Jeez, we're facing two bots, mate. We need to, like, be able to... We can't pull this together.
But Season 1 ends like that. I did skip a certain portion of Season 1 that I didn't mention, but that's when Rias Gremory was engaged to Riser Phoenix. And they were supposed to get married, but Issei Hyodo ends up crashing the entire fucking thing. Because he's a legend.
How does he do that?
First of all, Rias Gremory and okay, you double teaming bastards. The Rias Gremory and Riser Phoenix were given a rating game, which is basically just a battle between two houses, right? And she ends up losing that only because she forfeits because Riser was about to kill Issei Hyodo.
Oh.
So she surrenders the match to save Issei's life. And after he is fully healed and stuff, there's an engagement party where Lucifer, the Devil King, ends up inviting him to crash the party and challenge Riser to a 1v1, which he actually ends up winning, just because he gave up his left arm to the dragon soul that's inside this boosted gear. So he can, and with that he gained the ability to use his balance breaker for like 10 seconds, but he can also hold crosses, which is a big advantage because crosses in holy water are super dangerous to demons. So during his fight, he uses his balance breaker for the first portion. Then when Riser's choke holding him and holding him up in the air, he just freaking he first of all spreads holy water on him, and then his Riser Phoenix, his ability has the same ability as the legendary bird, the Phoenix, so they're basically immortal. But the holy water stops him from using his regeneration capabilities. So he's being attacked mentally, and he can't regenerate physically. So, and basically Issei Hyodo finishes the fight off after that with like a single punch that he's holding across. And that's mainly Season 1 in a nutshell. I can't really say if you can call that a nutshell because I went pretty into depth with like everything. As we said though, we're going into depth.
Yeah. Yeah, I did say
We're talking about an anime that is borderline hentai.
I mean, you didn't really mention any of the borderline hentai part about it, but you know. Chase double team.
More borderline? Oh,
double team.
Yeah.
It's a bot.
I thought... But there's more season. Oh shit, he's got revenge. Okay.
I'm dead.
But there's 4 seasons. Season 4 is the newest one. They ended up getting a new artist, which completely threw everyone off. Because honestly, the original artist for the anime was top notch, and it just got worse quality. The story was like roughly the same quality, but the art just went down the shitter.
Okay.
So it just didn't, the graphics of it just didn't feel like the same hentai or borderline hentai that everybody knew.
That everybody knew and loved.
Yes. And it was honestly it was better as it was originally. I don't know why they decided to get it.
I can't even move, mate. Alright, there we go. Alright, so are we ready to talk about SAO?
Yeah. As I said, I'm only gonna talk about frickin' season 1. That's all I've watched so
Dude,
far.
look at my health.
I don't want to go and talk about all the other seasons when I don't know all the details about that yet.
That's fair.
But as a quick wrap up, all the borderline hentai shit, Rias Grimory and I didn't mention this, but you know how I quickly briefed or talked about what's it called? Not parent-teacher day. What's it called? It's the day where your teacher in this anime, where the day where your parents come in and watch you take classes. Isehiro is in art class and he ends up sculpting a perfect replica of Rias Grimory's naked body.
Ooh.
Yeah, just because he has the memory etched into the grave. As they sleep together, like every night once they start living together, and she always sleeps in the noon. So that's nice. And then the shower moments. And yeah, it's just one big pervert frickin' anime. Sword Art Online, Travis. You know more shit about the borderline hentai moments than I do, apparently, because I don't know jack shit.
Well, you know the story, so you can help me out with that, right?
Sword Art Online, yeah. Kirito and like
SAO.
what 10,000 players get stuck in a game called Sword Art Online.
Technically, he's part. Okay, I'll start. SAO, right? It's literally just an anime based off of in 2022 VR.
Which won't happen in 2022 for anybody that wants Nerf gear really bad. It probably won't happen for the next 100 years.
I don't know,
Maybe.
dude. It's
Considering we're in the golden age right now, or the technological age, as some people would say.
It's getting close.
Maybe within the next century, but
no, it's
a lot of people
still 5 years away, so it's kind of like.
Yeah, I know, but they're just starting to break through with neurotechnological shit. And for it to be used as gaming, dude, that's years away. That's technology that would be accessed by everybody.
Okay, that's fair. But then again, it was what, 10,000 people?
10,000 people then for a limited time game, yeah. It's trapped inside a game, because if they die in the game, they die in real life.
Okay, wait, you're skipping a lot of stuff. Okay, stop. You're over-summarizing. You're over-summarizing.
You talk about it then.
I was. You're supposed to fill in the cracks.
I
2022, 10,000 people are trying to play this game that uses like a fully immersive VR headset, meaning like you literally feel and like do everything full body, which technically is VR anyway, but you know, whatever. But so this kid named Kirito goes into this world. It's been anticipated. The game creator is really huge and everything.
Yeah, they do.
Actually, he's in there with 10,000 other people. Eventually, though, they figure out that there's no logout button, and the game creator eventually like huddles all of these people together and goes like, "Yeah, that's on purpose." Teleport. Yeah, forces a teleport.
Back to the
back to like the town of beginnings, and goes like, "Hey guys."
That's what it's called.
It's like, "Hey guys, listen, this is on purpose." Like, and he's like, "Also, don't try taking it off or anything, because if you do, you literally die."
Yeah.
And everyone freaks out and tries leaving, and they die, and that's how it begins. Kirito, of course, played the beta for this game for some reason, so he knows a lot of shit.
Well, he's a legend, bruh. What do you expect?
And he tries taking this person he met with him, and the guy did want to, so you know. Begins his journey. That ends like pretty much episode 1. Episode 2, continuing on the journey pretty much, right? Except now they're on like the first boss fight, and he meets main bitch, which is Asuna, okay?
A bitch, bruh. Okay,
Right.
buddy. She's not really a bitch, but she is bossy. I'll give you that much.
Anyway, we're continuing on from there. They defeat the boss, except then all these people who weren't part of the beta start getting mad because Kirito was in the beta and he knew information that they didn't know that could have saved a guy's life during the boss fight.
Which he actually ends up trying, because he tries to give him a health potion. But he says no, he wanted to die.
The guy literally says no. Which is crazy. Like, why would you do that? Anyway.
He's basically committing self-die.
Eventually Kirito just admits that he's a beta tester and that he got higher leveled in the beta than anyone else. And then leaves Asuna. And tells her that she's a really good player. Beater. Yeah, everyone starts calling him a beater, and he goes solo.
And he remains like that for like almost
for a long time.
Yeah, until he duels Heath.
Okay, well, okay, that's a lie. When I mean a long time, I mean that as in like, okay, this Valkyrie's a bitch and she needs to stop. And when I mean a long time, I mean as in like, in the anime universe it was a long time, but like really in the actual series it was like 2-3 episodes. Kinda. I think episode 3 he ends up meeting up with this group of people who are all friends in real life, and he joins their guild. Right? You know, casually joins it, because why not? He lies about his level though, which apparently is a big deal, which I don't think it is. And, like,
one of them finds out about it.
Yeah, the one girl in the group keeps thinking she's gonna die, but just wants to, you know, kill herself. And Kirito doesn't want that, so he doesn't
want her to kill herself either.
He stops her, and they end up like sharing a room together. Not a bed, but like a room, you know, casual.
No, they shared. No, did they share? I thought that time they shared a bed.
No.
But they were. I know there was definitely one time they shared a bed. They were sleeping right next to each other.
Yeah.
There was definitely
no,
one time. There was definitely once.
Okay,
yes,
fine.
it was.
Maybe it was once, maybe, but I'm pretty sure.
One time. It was one time they slept together, but in a non-sexual way. That doesn't make it borderline hentai.
I'm not saying that. I wasn't thinking of her when I meant borderline hentai. Okay.
Sure you.
All right. I wasn't. Because
sure.
She's such a minor character, who remembers that, okay? Eventually, the guild goes into this, like, trap room because, you know, they thought they're all fine and mighty, and Kirito's like,
all but
nope.
one. The one guy went to go buy a house for everybody.
All but one died in that trap room, and then Kirito goes to him.
Oh yeah, Kirito's the only one who survived, yeah.
He goes out and goes like, listen man, like, shit got real.
Everyone died, but
and then
me.
The guild leader says that he's a beater because Kirito tells him his true level. And then jumps off a cliff.
Yep.
Not a cliff, nice. Just literally walks to the edge of the world and just falls.
Yeah, that's nice.
Just falls.
And his body disintegrates.
Yep. And then we skip to like Christmas time. There's information going around to get like this revive item. And Kirito wants to get it so he can revive the
Kirito.
Kirito.
Bro, what the fuck?
I'm talking really fast, sorry.
Yeah. I'll give you some.
He gets the revive item and goes. Eventually, he meets up with the one guy, Klein, from like way back in the beginning that everyone forgets about because, you know, he's not a main character.
Klein ends up telling him that it's basically suicide to go after that item alone.
And Kirito does it anyway.
Kirito doesn't care. He's like, you know what? My friends died. I might as well die. Like, I don't give a shit.
He ends up getting the revive item and gives it to Klein because there's like a 10-second limit of when you can use it on someone who died.
Yep.
But then he gets a present from the dead girl that like died recently.
That arrives on Christmas.
Yep. And it pretty much explains that she knows she was gonna die and she knew that he would blame himself for it. And it was just her pretty much saying like, hey, live life still, you know? Like, just because I didn't want to live life here doesn't mean you don't have to, is pretty much what it said. And then we move on. We continue with the story.
Victory.
I think the next part of the story would be when he meets up with Asuna again.
Isn't this
Round 2.
the part where there's like
Oh, wait.
killing inside safe
Wait.
zones?
No, never mind. It's before, because he meets the other girl before he meets Asuna again.
You mean the blacksmith?
No, not the blacksmith, the one with the dragon
Oh,
pet.
Silica, yeah.
Silica, yeah. So he meets this girl Silica in a jungle who's all by herself because she left her party because her party was abusing her and whatnot.
They thought of her as a mascot.
Yep. He saves her and she's like, oh my gosh, thank you. He's like, listen, no biggie. Like, I may be a solo player, but like, I'm a nice guy sometimes.
Note at this time he's like level 87. I'm estimating here. He was definitely level 80 somewhere. I know that for sure.
I think he... Actually, maybe, yeah. No, probably like level 60. It gets convoluted because the timeline doesn't really make sense. But, anyway. Eventually they go to a town, like, they chill in a house and whatnot. He saves her from getting taken from a bunch of punks who want to use her as their mascot. They eat some dinner, they go into their separate rooms. She gets undressed and whatnot. And then Kirito comes knocking on the door, going like, hey, what's up? And she of course she really wants to talk to Kirito.
Obviously, he's
So
such a
she-
stud, bruh.
So then she goes to the door, completely undressed, only in her underwear. You get a nice shot of her full body then. From the
Oh, yes.
from the animators, yep.
Round 4.
By the time she realizes it, she's like literally got her hand on the doorknob.
Yup. And then it skips to where you're in the room. She's wearing some pajamas. Kirito's in the room now too.
Yeah.
And everything's great. And she's like blushing the whole time. Then after that, they do this whole journey thing to save Silica's pet who died. And Kirito takes a peek at her undies, because he's Kirito.
Classic.
A bit of a perv. 'Cause she
What
is
kind of
mean-
guy isn't?
That's fair.
Yeah. If you have a good opportunity to check out a panty shop, who wouldn't? Honestly.
Especially if like you're not even trying to do it on purpose. It's like the opportunity's just right in front of you, and you're like,
Yeah.
but anyway, that
They end
happens.
up. No, they're leaving the dungeon.
Yep, because they want to revive Silica's pet
They
inside a
have
town.
the rare item, and they're leaving the dungeon, crossing a bridge. When suddenly, Travis, continue.
They get ambushed by bad people.
AKA the leader of Silica's old party, also known as the leader of Titan Hand, a criminal player-killing guild.
Yep. And Kirito goes like, listen, get your teleport crystal ready. I'm gonna go handle this.
Just
You know what
in
this
case.
man does? You know what this man does? This man just stands there.
Nothing.
So-
Does nothing.
The guild, and then the criminal leader sends like 5-6 people out there to attack them.
There's
And of
like
course, they're sitting there,
7 people.
7-ish, yeah.
7.
Of course, they're sitting there going like, wait a minute, this is the Black Swordsman. Like, we don't want to attack this guy. They're like, he's a beater. Of course, the criminal leader's like, that's a bunch of nonsense.
Why would someone from the front lines be down here?
Yeah, exactly. And then they go to attack him, except, lo and behold, his health regen heals more in
Then
10
all
seconds.
7 of them
Yeah,
can deal.
in 10 seconds.
Yeah.
So they literally do nothing, and he just stands there. And the criminal leader gets mad about it. Right, and then he eventually goes up there and goes like, I'm okay being yellow for a few days. Because he has his sword against her throat. Of course, she doesn't want to die, so she goes to prison.
His client bought a teleport crystal with the coordinates to the prison, and he wanted them all to go to jail. So Kirito took up this job. And he does send them all to prison. But if you pay attention closely in the anime, during the fight scene when he's getting attacked by the 7 guys, you'll notice one of the guys is dual-wielding axes. If you pay close enough attention. And dual-wielding in this game is a skill that's only given to the person with the fastest reaction speed. So if that makes sense, Kirito technically has the fastest reaction speed in the game. But he didn't have the skill yet. And this other guy had it. So at some points of the anime, it's confusing.
Maybe because the reaction speed at the time Kirito was there wasn't as fast as that guy's. But then he improved it and it got faster than that guy, so he got the skill.
As Kirito is a one-handed sword and doesn't use a shield, even though that's the advantage to using one-handed weapons in SAO. He just focuses on speed and his detective abilities, apparently.
But that's where we end up with Silica. And now we go back to Asuna, who apparently has become like second in command of a major guild called the
Knights of Buddha.
Yeah. Which is apparently a big deal.
And she is a bodyguard.
Okay, I hate people.
But you're skipping something. You're skipping the part where there's player killing inside safe zones.
No, that happens when he meets. Okay, Chase, there's actually some stuff that happens before that. Because here's what happens. He meets up with Asuna and the Knights of the Blood Oath to discuss their plans on defeating the boss of the next dungeon. Afterwards, everyone starts preparing to fight the boss except Kirito. He's literally sitting
under a tree.
Laying under a tree. Yeah. Taking a nap. And Asuna sees him going like, what the hell are you doing? Like, you should be training like the rest of them. And it goes like, well, if you think about it, we're stuck here for who knows how long. And this is the best weather that could possibly get out here. Just relax. Apparently.
The weather's at its optimal setting.
Yeah.
Even though it like almost never changes.
Exactly.
Round 3.
So then eventually Asuna just naps too. And Kirito kind of just chills. Making sure she doesn't like get player killed or anything like that, because they're not in the town. So they do that. Eventually Asuna wakes up, gets mad, and goes like, one dinner, anything you want to get repaid. Kirito kind of tries refusing, but she kind of refuses the refusal, and that gets the whole thing. So eventually
it's very complicated.
Yeah. Eventually they're at a restaurant.
Victory.
And they're eating and whatnot, discussing things. And they hear a scream. They go outside, see a guy hanging from a tower with a spear in his chest.
It was a sword.
Sword. Yeah, spear, sword. I'm pretty sure they say it was a spear.
No, it was a sword.
Okay, whatever. In the long run, it's the same thing. He was impaled with it. Anyway, he's impaled by this thing. They see him die. Asuna and Kirito take it upon themselves to investigate what's happening. And with that, so they start investigating. And eventually they figure out a person used to be in a guild with them. So they interrogate her, and she goes like, well, they used to be part of a clan, and they found like this one special ring.
Round 5.
And the guild debated about what to do with the ring, and the guild was divided. And eventually the guild's leader was killed over the division of what to do with the ring.
Oh, the chick, yeah.
Yep. So eventually they question her and keep her safe inside like hotels and everything. But eventually she gets killed too. Okay, really? These little bitch ass motherfuckers.
Revenge. There you go. We're gonna stray away to the game real quick just because this is intense. Come on, Travis. How can you beat this guy? Maybe it's because you're an assassin. I don't know.
Okay. Anyway, continuing on after I got rudely double teamed by those people.
Thanks for the carry, mate.
No problem. Any day.
This is sad.
Anyway,
Back
she
to the
eventually
murder.
dies, and they start trying to connect the dots on how these two people died and who could it be. Eventually, they both get hungry and go and sit down to eat some food. Some delicious
Isn't
food
it like
made
a sandwich?
made by Asuna, because apparently she's working on her cooking skills.
Good housewife.
And they're eating their sandwiches, and Kirito makes a comment to sell the sandwiches, and Asuna knocks it out of his hands. And while it's on the ground, just evaporating into particles, he sits there crying a little. And she goes like, "Are you crying?" And he goes like, "Shush." And it says he figured out the investigation, and they were just using teleport crystals. Yada yada yada. Turns out it was like the guild leader's wife, or not wife, husband, who killed her because some dumb reason. And he eventually hired Laughing Coffin, which is a murder guild, to try and take care of him, so there's no evidence, and that didn't work and everything. And then Asuna and Kirito saw the ghost of the original guild leader, and that's a whole thing.
Yeah.
And he sparks a relationship
Pretty
because they're
spooky.
talking about, I don't know, like what you would
Him
do
and
if you had a
Asuna
wife.
fall in love.
Yeah. And then the next episode, I believe, is the cooking one.
Oh, the Ragu
The
Rabbit?
next- Yep. So Kirito sees this rabbit, and he goes like, "Alright, I'm gonna kill it." He gets a rare meat. It's the finest meat that you've ever seen. And he takes it to this merchant friend of his that he kind of just relaxes with in their pad, and he goes like, "Listen, dude, I got this here meat." Except none of them could cook it, they would just burn it. And then, lo and behold, Asuna just shows up. And Kirito, of course,
Out of nowhere.
just grabs her hands and goes like, "My chef."
Classic.
And then
woman
Asuna
roles,
goes
am I
like,
right?
"What the hell are you talking about?"
Oh,
And
I'm distracted.
so then Kirito had explained that he got this really rare meat and asks what level her chef skills are at. And she says she maxed them out. So boom. Literally chef. And it's great. Except he can't give any to his friend because she's literally asking for half the food.
Yeah.
And they go to her pad. And they try leaving without Asuna's bodyguard, and then Asuna's bodyguard gets mad because Kirito's a beater and whatnot. But eventually they go to Asuna's pad and see...
She shows him his place.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much.
Sorry,
Eventually
mate, but
the-
I ain't into proper fighting.
The food is eventually cooked and they enjoy it. And then she says that he needs to join a party with her and they need to go fighting. And he goes like, "Won't the Blood Oath get mad?" And she goes like, "Well, I'll just ditch him. Ignore him." So eventually they do that. And... except what ends up happening is not exactly what the Asuna originally had in mind. Which was the bodyguard ended up waiting in front of her house, following
Like a
her
fucking stalker.
to where she was supposed to be. And when she goes through the portal, she ends up landing on top of Kirito.
And he
Kirito-
gropes her.
Yep, he gropes her boobs. Like a mad
What a
lad.
legend.
And then gets punched into a wall and tries apologizing. To no avail. And then the bodyguard shows up, says goes like, "It's you." And Kirito goes like, "Yeah, of course it's me. Who else is it supposed to be?" And after that,
Intense.
they go into the level and they're grinding. Eventually they find the boss room. Okay. They go in there, they run away because the boss is really powerful.
Isn't it like
They-
the Gleam...
Gleam-eyed demon, yeah.
Yeah, some shit like
Eventually
that.
they go back to start eating sandwiches. And then lo and behold, they meet Klein. while they're eating their sandwiches, and of course Klein, being like the cool guy he is, going like, Kirito, you've been holding out on me, when did you get a girlfriend? And of course Kirito's like, that's not how this is. Like, this isn't how it works, Klein. And eventually they see some soldiers from the town of Beginnings marching that are completely exhausted.
Is the what's it? The Dragon Alliance or some shit like that.
No,
They
it
run
wasn't.
floor 1.
It wasn't the Dragon Alliance, it was like something military or militia. And Kirito shares, yeah, it wasn't the Dragon Alliance, because it was Klein's group, the Knights of the Blood Oath, and Dragon Alliance that were the front line people. And then there's like a militia that was on the town of Beginnings.
And all they do is text people and be crooks.
Yep. And they ask for map information from Kirito, and Kirito of course is like, sure, why not?
Even though they were jackasses about when they asked for it.
But then he's like, don't plan on going to the boss room, it's really powerful, but they do anyway. So then Kirito, Asuna, and Klein's group follow them. The boss fight's happening. Oh shit, wait, we're too far.
No, we're not.
Yeah, we skipped the blacksmith.
Well, we can go back and talk about it.
Yeah.
Before this,
No,
just
we
finish
won't-
this thought.
yeah,
Finish this thought.
We're gonna finish the Gleam-Eyed Demon, and then we'll go back, because something that happens in this can lead to the blacksmith. So anyway, we continue on. They get in the fight. They're all fighting. Everyone's dying. Kirito thinks everybody's about to die. And wapow, he goes like, alright, give me 10 seconds to let me do stuff. He equips 2 swords.
Second sword, yeah.
Which in the game has never been heard of. Dual wielding doesn't exist.
It's a unique skill.
And he starts going pow all over this demon thing. Almost dies, but
He uses a 40 hit combo called Starstream.
he almost dies, but he doesn't. And then Asuna like runs over to him, gives him a hug, and literally goes like, "You big fat idiot. I wouldn't know what I would do without you if you died." And that whole thing happened, and then Klein's like, "Alright, before I leave, you love birds alone. What was that ability?" And, of course, Kirito's like, "Honestly, I have no clue. I just found it in my skills one day. I don't know if there was a skill tree or anything, because if I did know, I would have told you." And then Klein's like, "Well, at the same time, it's a good thing you didn't tell, because people would be jealous." And he's like, "Personally, I'm not." It's like, cool, I'm happy for you, because he respects Kirito. However, the second sword that Kirito used was made by a certain blacksmith. Which leads to the part we were supposed to talk about before, but we ended up not talking about. I hate this knight guy. Anyway. Back to after the whole investigation thing. Asuna is getting her sword fixed by a blacksmith named Lindsay. And she... Lindsay, same thing. Okay, anyway.
Oh, he delayed the attack.
Continuing on. Asuna recommends her to Kirito, and Kirito shows up and just goes like, "Hey, what's the strongest sword you got?" Of course she goes like, "It's this one," and then he takes the sword, he wants to break his old sword, and that sword snaps in half. And of
Not
course,
his sword, but
well, her sword, yeah. Blacksmith's sword. Of course she gets all pissed at Kirito and goes like, "Alright, well, you're gonna help me get the material," and he's like, "Okay." So eventually they get together to go get the material. Everything's going well, except then she yells at Kirito, and the dragon that they're fighting to get the material attacks them. They end up falling into the dragon's nest.
Because Linz was a retard in the middle of a boss fight. She didn't listen to Kirito's orders or instructions, basically.
And they got stuck down there.
Costing them, yeah.
Yep, they got stuck down there. They slept together and held
Not really. They had
hands.
their own sleeping
Yeah.
bags, but they did heal.
They did that
Hold
stuff.
hands.
Round
When Kirito, it doesn't go into when Kirito woke up, but when Linz wakes up, she sees Kirito digging in the snow, and he finds the material that they were looking for.
Yup. Which good for him, you know.
Yeah.
Oh my god,
He
I
went
killed
off
my
of
guy.
Wit, and he found what they needed.
Oh no.
And that's when you find out that the material they were looking for is basically this dragon's poop, and what they were in is its nest. And since dragons are nocturnal, that the dragon was gonna be coming back.
Yep.
To sleep.
The dragon came back. Kirito goes like, "Trust me." Ends up running up this wall and jumping
Falls
onto the
on the
dragon's
dragon.
bag.
Yep.
Yeah. Linz then, while they're falling in the sky, eventually professes her love to Kirito. Of course, Kirito doesn't hear it because they're falling in the sky. Plus, he's a god, so you know. Eventually, they get back, and then Asuna shows up, and Linz eventually connects the dots and realizes that they're dating. And she eventually goes off to cry under a bridge.
Like a troll.
And then Kirito shows up going like, "Listen, I still want to be friends and whatnot." And she goes like, "Alright, well," or confesses about how he thought it would be better to die with someone than to die alone, but now he's like, "I'd rather not die at all." And then Linz is like, "Alright."
Emotion.
Linz is like, "Alright, now go tell that to Asuna," and he's like, "Okay." Now we're back at the glint-eyed demon thing.
And we talked about that.
That just ended. That just ended right now. Oh, and then Linz makes a sword, and she uses all of her passion for Kirito to craft it. And it's
the first one ever made in the game.
Yeah, and it's like a really OP sword.
It's almost on par.
Yeah.
As Kirito's Elucidator.
But then, after the glint-eyed demon, what happens? I think that's...
The duel between Heathcliff, the leader of Knights in Blood Oath, and Kirito.
No, something happens before that.
No.
I think they try, going...
It doesn't happen before because the duel only happens is because everyone finds out that he has a dual-wielding skill. And everyone wanted to see the dual.
No, I know it doesn't happen. I know it doesn't happen before the glint-eyed demon. I'm saying I thought there might be something before the duel that's important, but I don't think it is.
I don't think there is anything in between.
I think they tried. No. Asuna says
no,
she's
Asuna,
gonna.
Yeah,
wants
they wanted
to take a break from the Blood Oath.
Absence.
Yep.
Yep.
And
then he says the only way that's happening is if Kirito beats him in the duel. But if Kirito loses, he joins the guild.
Yep. So eventually, Heathcliff and Kirito get in this duel. Heathcliff hasn't been known to go below a certain health point. Well, Kirito gets him below that to start. Alright?
No, he doesn't.
Yeah, he gets him below. He gets him into the yellow.
Yeah. He gets him into the yellow, which his health has never reached.
He gets him into the yellow, and he's about to defeat Heathcliff. Except then you see some slow-mo stuff.
Heathcliff activates his hacks.
Yep. Which come important later. And then defeats Kirito, so Kirito joins the clan. The guild.
Same thing.
Round 1.
Yep. Anyway, so that happened. He's in, it's his first day of training, he has to give up his, teleport crystals and whatnot. And lo and behold, he's actually training with Asuna's old bodyguard. And they had a history. So eventually they're going through a dungeon, and eventually the leader of the group said, "Alright, time for a break." And they all everyone but the old bodyguard takes a drink. Meaning the main party ended up getting paralyzed along with Kirito. The guy who paralyzed them ends up then showing that he's part of Laughing Coffin, the murder guild. And then ends up murdering the training leader. And going to Kirito and going it'll be a shame when everyone finds out that you guys were killed by a bunch of bandits. But before the guy was able to kill Kirito, Asuna came in and punched him into a cliff, right when Kirito was about to die. And then she gave him a health potion.
Light span.
Just to survive. Alright. Is this my character? Because I find myself really annoyed.
I had to deal with that too, dude. It's fine. Asuna saves him!
Yep, Asuna saves him.
Round 3.
Barely.
And then she's about to go kill the guy, except the guy pulls like a trick and almost kills her. Except, lo and behold, Kirito somehow blocks the attack with his arm. His arm literally gets cut off. And then to get back at the guy, he somehow powers up a punch that is power enough to kill the Laughing Coffin guy.
He literally impales him with his fist.
Yeah, it's true. And then the guy dies,
Tommy,
and then Kirito falls to his knees. And Asuna starts crying, going like, I shouldn't be with you, I'm just causing you harm. And Kirito just turns around and kisses her, going like, I owe my life to you now. I'll do anything to protect you and make sure you get to the real world. And then Asuna's like, I feel the same way. I'll do the same thing. And then Kirito's like, great, I'm gonna stay at your pad tonight. And she's like, cool. So then it skips to them being at her pad.
Victory.
And,
Bitch.
well, they eat dinner and stuff, and then eventually Asuna turns, like, the lights off in the house. Right?
Sexy
Okay.
time.
And then takes off all of her clothes, except her underwear. And looks at
Kirito
Kirito.
standing there stunned.
Yeah. And they
He's
stop
surprised.
Evan. And then Kirito goes like, that's not what I meant.
I just wanted to eat with you. I didn't want to sleep with you.
And she gets mad, and then it skips to where she's in bed completely nude, and Kirito's just sitting in a chair next to her, fully clothed. Which,
In Sword Art Online, abridged, they give you moaning sounds for that part, showing they actually did it. So that's intriguing.
but, anyway, that happens. And then he goes like, listen, I want to marry you, and she's like, okay. And then they get married, move to a
They
different...
go on a vacation, they buy a house on,
Yep.
what,
Floor
22?
22. Yeah.
A lake
It's
house.
like a cabin,
Nice
yeah,
view.
in a forest.
Yeah.
And then they have the good times there too, like they're laying on top of each other in bed and whatnot. And
They meet a fisherman.
they meet no,
That's not so later.
there's something that happens before that though.
Yui, they find a little girl in the forest.
Yep. Who they think is a player. Except this player
But
has
there's
no
no icon.
memories. Yeah. She has no memories except then starts calling Asuna and Kirito mommy and daddy.
Mommy and daddy.
So they literally
That's
adopt her as their kid.
Round 1.
Even though both Asuna and Kirito are 17 and 16 respectively,
perfectly legal.
already married with 2 kids. What's happening? Chase! Chase! Oh my god. Everything that could have gone wrong in that fight literally went wrong.
It's fine, I
Anyway.
got you, fam.
They get this girl as her daughter, and then they go to the town at the beginnings because they want to try and find her actual parents. But while they're there, they enter this really powerful dungeon that Yui ends up defeating. And then Yui goes like, I'm not a player, I'm an AI who's part of the program, and supposed to care about everyone's emotions. Which, of course, explains a lot. And, she eventually gets kicked by the system because the system saw her as hostile. And Kirito saves, like, her heart so they could possibly one day revive her. And then they go meet a fisherman who wants to catch big fish and was actually a game developer for, Sword Art Online, which is pretty cool, but, you know, why does that matter now? yada yada yada. Eventually Heathcliff goes like, alright, I need you guys on the front lines again to go defeat like a 475 boss. Time skip, time skip, time skip. They defeat the 475 boss, but they take major losses.
Aye.
But then eventually, Kirito's like, Kirito just suddenly like does a minor attack to Heathcliff to see what will happen. And then it pops up the image saying that he's an immune object. And Kirito eventually goes like, what game would be fun without playing it? And then,
Victory!
says Kayaba, which is the name of the game creator. And then Heathcliff, who's Kayaba, just laughs and goes like, man, you are a smart one. And then Kayaba literally paralyzes everyone except Kirito and himself. Kirito.
And makes him an offer to shut down the game if Kirito beats him.
Yep. Literally goes like, it should become no surprise that I'm the final boss. And he looks at Kirito and goes like, listen, I'll give you one chance right now to defeat me. And if you can do that, then I'll end the game. So they start fighting, Heathcliff gets low, Kirito gets low. And then Kirito gets wide open for a stab that Heathcliff takes, but then it's suddenly blocked by Asuna, and she gets killed. Kirito goes into a whole, like, grief state, uselessly swinging at Heathcliff. Heathcliff knocks one of his swords out of his hand, and then stabs Kirito. But then suddenly, while he's dying, Kirito just suddenly comes back to life.
It was and we can automatically speculate that it was the revive item Klein had.
Oh.
Because it has to be used within 10 seconds.
Oh damn, you're right. I never thought about that. But, so Kirito comes back to life, grabs Asuna's sword, and stabs Heathcliff, who ends up dying. Kirito also dies though, still, because he's still impaled. Or like, they kind of stab each other, and they both... Okay, Kaiba, who's actually now Kaiba in real life. Kaiba?
Yeah, he appears as his,
and Kirito are all in like SAO heaven, watching Ironcrad just fall to pieces.
Apart. Yep. They ask him why, and he says he doesn't know.
He goes like, it's been so many years that I just don't know. And then, boom, time skip, Kirito's alive. That ends the, what people call the Ironcrad arc. And the borderline hentai in there, it's like I said, SAO is one of those things where it's like, overall, there's not a lot of it, but there's some, like, booty shots. There's, like, times where people are just in their underwear, or, like, they're sleeping together or some shit. Like, there are those instances, but it's, like, few and in between.
That's not all of Season 1 either. That's just the
That's
SAO
half.
portion.
Yeah, that's
half
Ironcrad.
We haven't even gotten into Alfheim Online yet.
Which we will now! Which, honestly, I think Alfheim Online is a bit of a quicker story, because there's not much to it.
Round one.
It's mainly Kirito just trying to save Asuna.
It's mainly, most of it, I feel like, if we did a summary, most of the season, that stuff is just filler. So if we start talking about it now, which I will. So Alfheim Online. It starts out by Kirito getting, it's like 2 months after SAO. And he's been going to like physical training and whatnot because, you know, his body has literally just not been working for like
2 years he
2
hasn't
months
moved, he's just been laying in a
something.
hospital.
Yeah, 2 years. Eventually he challenges his sister to some kind of like martial arts thing.
Victory.
And they fight out, and he's like taking stances that aren't known in that kind of martial arts. He's doing like all of the SAO stances, while she's doing like traditional stances.
Yeah. He's
He
doing
ends
what
up
he's used to
losing.
for like
Yep.
a few years.
He ends up losing and acts like he's putting like his stick that he used to fight behind his back like he would in SAO. And he's just like, old habits die hard. And eventually he continues to go visit Asuna in the hospital because he learned that she didn't wake up for whatever reason. He gets there, he meets this guy who works for a VR company, and he's like, and he's kind of a creep, like he's smelling Asuna's hair, like he's licking his lips, you know. And then he goes like, yeah, I'm gonna marry her. He looks at Kirito and goes like, make sure to never come back. And all that happens, then eventually he gets back home, cries a little bit, because, you know, he's like, I'm powerless in this situation, and his sister's like, no you're not, you have hope. And he's like, you're right, and he eventually gets an email from the merchant guy from SAO, who he met up with in real life, showing a picture of what looks like to be Asuna in a different game. So they meet up, and the merchant dude's like, yeah, that's Alfheim Online, and Kirito's like, alright, I'm gonna borrow this for like a few days. And of course that happens. Eventually he gets in, and whatnot, spawns in a random place, gets attacked, but realizes that the servers that SAO and Alfheim Online are on are practically the same. So he still had like a bunch of old skills and weapons from SAO.
His stats are the same too.
Yeah.
So he's just OP.
Yep. And you eventually find, a lot of them have question marks though because they are still different games. But like his stats are the same, which is what mainly matters. I just pushed a guy into the fire! Yes! I did it!
Nice.
Anyway.
That was pretty fun. I like these guys.
Eventually he sees the item for Yui, who is his daughter in SAO. Clicks on it and boom! She's back to life. She comes back. She's alive and she becomes like a pixie guide or something like that. So then the game doesn't think she's like a hostile object. So then they ended up traveling and then meet this character named Leafa, who we later find out is actually just Kirito's sister.
Nice.
And she teaches him the ropes about the game and everything, and then eventually they go on this journey because he's like, listen, I just need to get to that damn tree. And eventually they get to like the boss, and then Yui starts calling Kirito daddy, and then Kirito left the game except Yui was still there, so Leafa's like, hey, what's up with that? And Yui's like, well, I'm not actually his daughter, but like theoretically I am. And she's like, he's my daddy.
Can we take a moment to notice, or to appreciate, that last guy we were fighting, Maximus, in that last round? His shield was a Minecraft creeper. Can we just take a second to
it was amazing.
Congratulate this guy?
Yep. We appreciate
Kudos.
you if you ever watch this, which you probably won't, just by the name of the damn title, but that's okay. Anyway. So that all happens, they get to the world tree, they start figuring out that, well, before they actually get to the dungeon, Yui goes like, I hear mommy, and Kirito flies up, and of course Lisa's like, going like, man, this dude's out of control about this whole situation. And eventually explains everything.
Listen, when the dude wants a good old-fashioned suck and fuck, you don't stop him.
Yep. Eventually,
especially if it's none of your business.
Eventually they get there and everything, and there's not a whole lot of borderline hentai, especially in this. Oh, other than the one part when they... So before they actually get to the world tree, apparently there are like different races in the game. And some of the races are trying to make a treaty, except there's like some spies who are about to make it so the races go to war. Well, lo and behold, Kirito kind of just shows up and goes like, listen, let's not do that. And then defeats like the leader. And the leader goes like, alright, won't fight you guys just because, you know, you have this OP Kirito on your team.
A bot just killed me.
A bot just killed me too. Anyway, that happens, and then the two leaders of the guild like rub their boobs and whatnot up to Kirito, going like, you should join us and help us and everything. Then Leafa shows up and does the exact same thing, going like, no, he's mine. Anyway, Kirito goes like, nope, I need to get to the World Tree. And he then gives them a bunch of money, going like, here's this for like the raid. And they go like, neat. Well, eventually he gets to the World Tree. He tries once to get there by himself, doesn't work, gets saved.
Oh my god, that fucking skill every time! Ah!
Oh. 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 Why? Oh. You little bitch. Ah!
Okay, continue.
Anyway, eventually she gets help, and then there's like 3 of them fighting, and then eventually all the races come to help. And he gets through.
Round 3.
Alright?
Except...
But then, and Yui's with them and everything, except then they realize that you were never meant to get into the World Tree. It was meant to be a boss that was impossible to defeat. But then, because earlier Yui tried sending a message to Asuna, who was trapped in a bird cage, that like Kirito was there and they're gonna save Asuna and whatnot. And of course it works because it's Yui. This little bitch. No! I was so close to! But they get this message through and Asuna drops like an admin card down to them. And while they're stuck here at the entrance, realizing that they were never meant to go through it, Kirito just pulls out the card and goes like, oh, wait a minute, that's right. And they get in, eventually they meet up with Asuna and use the admin card to get into the bird cage, which has a lock on it. No, just season 1.
Just season 1. Just have to watch it on Netflix.
But anyway, they find her and everything. But then they get discovered by the game creator, who happens to be...
No! Fuck that skill!
Who happens to be the guy who is about to marry Asuna in real life.
AKA Raper.
Yep. AKA Rapist Creep, because he starts literally taking off Asuna's clothes. So, like, you can't actually see it, but, like, her boobies is showing and everything. And he's licking her over,
Not like High School DxD, where it just shows that shit uncensored.
Yeah, but he's, like, licking her all over the place and everything.
He sucked on the
and
titty!
And Kirito's stuck there, like, having a sword through his back and, like,
and gravity amplified.
Gravity, yeah. And then he, like, passes out. And then all of a sudden Kayaba just shows up and goes like, I'm disappointed in you. And Kirito goes like, aren't you supposed to be fucking dead? Like, you suicided a while back, didn't you? And he goes like, well, you know, science. And Kirito's like, yeah, that makes sense. And Kayaba goes like, if there's one thing you taught me, it's that human will can somehow beat Game Master mechanics. And Kirito's like, you're right. And then Kirito suddenly comes back through and, like, the king, like, looks over as Kirito literally pushes himself up off of this gravity amplifier, takes out the sword. Yeah, literally, it literally falls out of his back. And then the king starts trying to use game admin stuff, and then Kirito, who's like some smart guy, just goes like, admin access Heathcliff.
System command.
Yeah,
admin
system command.
Access.
Yeah.
Codename Heathcliff or some shit like that.
And then the king goes like, wait, what the fuck? And then Kirito goes like, yeah, get rid of this guy's privileges. So then the king's like trying to do stuff. And Kirito goes like, some system command summon Excalibur, which is like the sword in the game or whatever.
The most legendary weapon, yeah.
Looks at the guy and goes like, alright, what can I do to you? Ah, I know. Makes it so like, the pain resistance
Round 1.
is at 0. So like everything you feel in real life. And oh
I thought
boy,
he maxed it out at 10.
I can't remember if it's like you max it out or you decrease it. It's one of the two.
You max it out.
Well, anyway, that happens. And Kirito literally, like, cuts him in half, stabs him right through the eye and stuff. Which is, like, a little extreme, but, you know, you gotta do what you gotta do.
Oh, you
Saves
did.
Asuna. Of course, Asuna's, like, hugging him completely naked, and Kirito's, like, sitting there crying, going, like...
Not completely naked. She got her tits hanging out, though.
Yeah, you're right. And she's like... He's sitting there crying, going like, I can't do this anymore. Like, I'm just weak.
Round 2.
She's like, no, you ain't. He's like, okay, fine, I'll try my best. And eventually they both get back to the real world, except she's in the hospital she's been staying at, and he's at his house. So he tries hurrying it up there, you know, as one does. Oh no, I'm so close! Oh, Chase, I almost pushed him into the saw. Anyway, she gets back, Kirito bikes over there, but then suddenly gets cut by a knife. Lo and behold, it's the game creator of Alfheim Online. And literally sits there trying to kill Kirito. And then Kirito sits there going like, nope. Literally takes the knife. And puts it up to smashes the guy's face into a van. Holds the knife up to the guy's neck. Cuts the guy's throat a little bit. And then just drops the guy in the knife and walks away. Into the hospital.
Yeah. He was scared shitless. Kirito's got skill in real life, too.
And then Asuna
Even
and
if he's
Kirito...
bleeding.
Yeah. Asuna and Kirito then like meet up inside Asuna's hospital room, and they kiss and whatnot and make up. And anyway, all that happened. And then it does like a little intro thing of like life after both Alfheim Online and SAO.
Victory.
Asuna and Kirito are dating. They did like a little
Nice.
get together of like the whole thing, the whole game in SAO.
Round 4.
Don't forget about the world seed.
Yep, they get the world seed, which is like some servers to be able to host VR MMOs that Kirito in the game then used to make it so the genre can stay alive. And yeah, and then all the girls are arguing over who can date Kirito because they all like him,
Double teaming bitches?
which is kind of
Fuck
awkward.
is this,
but,
a charity?
You know, that's really the end of it. In the second half of Season 1, I wouldn't say there's any, like, borderline hentai moments, and more rather just some really creepy
A
shit.
lot. Yeah.
Like,
Tonky.
this guy's literally, like, 20, ripping off the clothes of, like, a 17-year-old who
Right.
doesn't want to be with him, and licking her. That is what we call no bueno.
If you speak any other language besides English.
See. But
Should've
really,
said
that's SAO. Like I said, it's usually if you've watched anime, you've probably watched that. Because I feel like that's like one of the ones where it's like it's the one that gets you into it.
Mm.
You know?
It's it's the starting point for most people who
I heard like Dragon Ball Z and Naruto.
I
are also
never
too.
got into that just because it's so long.
For
Besides
me,
Fairy Tail, I started that one before it became super long, so I just watched as it went on.
I haven't watched Fairy Tail. I kind of want to watch it. I've heard good things about it. That's the whole reason why I watched SAO.
I think you'd like it. I think you'd like it. They finally added the final season, so the series is now done.
I'll probably start watching that sometime, but yeah,
it's gonna take a long time for you to finish.
Yeah, I get that. But well, then I don't know if I'll, because I don't want to get hooked on it like I did SAO and literally stay up until like 2 in the morning watching that.
You don't have to stay up till 2 in the morning. It will just take longer.
I know I don't have to, but that's what I ended up doing. Is what I'm trying to say. I hate people. Alright, you little bitch. Wanna play this game?
Victory!
Aha! I took your kill!
Oh,
Alright,
wow.
anyway, I think that's gonna be it for Borderline Hentai for today. I don't think it's as Borderline Hentai.
Recap.
I think we need to rename it.
Round 2.
Because I don't really think it's... I think we're just doing more of like anime recaps.
Borderline Hentai is basically... We're talking about anime that's Borderline Hentai, but we're doing summaries of it. We're not actually talking about the hentai moments. I guess we could actually just do a recap at the end of each episode.
Because I feel like what we could,
actual...
I feel like what we could do is like at the end of each summary. Because I feel like what we did was kind of right, where we're kind of like, all right, that's like the summary, but like in general, there was like these kind of hentai moments. Because I think that worked out well. Okay. But yeah, that was that. I might change the name of mine from Borderline Hentai though, because I think it... I don't know. I'd call it like maybe Anime Recap. Who knows, maybe episode 2, you could do like season 2 of Highschool DxD. And we could do season 2 of,
I'd have to watch more of it then. By the time that episode comes out, I'll have watched season 2.
Yeah, because you know our upload schedule is very, very, very inconsistent.
Yeah, very. So recap: High School DxD. The entire thing's perversion at the max. Main character is just a pervert who likes nothing but opie. If you want Borderline Hentai,
it's literally
plenty
that.
of times where you'll see tits.
Yeah. Whereas SAO, it's more like light stuff, mainly in anime, but there are times where it's like, that's kind of sketch. Because usually it's because it's like out of what it normally is.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense.
So, High School DxD, opie or boobs all the friggin' time.
You gotta be kidding me.
These guys like to double team, and Sword Art Online, it's just bits and pieces.
Yep.
That's really all it is.
The pieces are really like few and in between.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot in SAO.
No. Generally though, if you just want to watch a good anime, that's a pretty good one, I think.
Both of them. They both have nice stories.
From what I've heard, from what you're talking about, like it seems like there's a good story.
Yeah, there is a good story to it.
The only reason why I think I would want to stay away is simply because of the fact that it's literally hentai. And watching
Literally
that would be
sleeping
bad.
together in the nude.
I killed this lady! She was about to beat me into pieces, but then I made her burn alive! Oh, I'm so proud of myself.
Meanwhile, this guy's beating my dick while I'm talking about hentai.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
If we lose, it just means it's over sooner, okay? Don't be discouraged. Although I wouldn't be fine if you won.
Holy shit, man. How did that guy not kill me? Dude, he blocked a lot of those, you know that, right?
That's why he beat me. That and he used his shit. It doesn't help that these guys like to double team though, you know?
Oh shit. Alright, I need this guy. Oh, Chase!
You're welcome.
That looked beautiful on my screen. Oh my god, I just see you, like, I'm getting knocked back and I just see you plunge your sword into him. Alright,
You're
well,
welcome.
that's it for, I think I'm gonna rename it to, like, anime recap.
I'm gonna keep it borderline hentai, just because we're talking about borderline anime or borderline hentai that's anime, because it's technically not hentai, otherwise there'd be sex scenes.
But
not like I know anything of that. You guys don't need to know that.
Chase is like, you know nothing?
But it's gonna keep it the same. Basically, what my borderline hentai series is gonna contain of is we're gonna talk about borderline hentai.
I think the next one should
High School
just be...
DxD. It's basically just gonna be summaries.
I think the next one will just be summaries of season 2 of both of the ones we did today.
Yeah, probably.
I think that...
Because I don't want to start on another episode that's like a different anime.
Because I feel like there's a... Because to be fair for SAO, it kind of ends in a way where it's like you don't actually need to like continue on to season 2, but season 2 also has like some kind of iffy moments in it as well. So like I still want to talk about that.
Especially when Kirito and Seinen are changing in the same room, but Seinen doesn't know Kirito's a guy. Yeah.
Exactly. Shh. Next episode.
Next episode.
You're spoiling it. You're spoiling the fun.
Oh well, that's what makes it more fun.
But also, though, the gameplay might be different. I think we should probably switch up the gameplay from time to time.
Yeah, Travis, if you can get Rocket League, it's just gonna be a lot easier for me to focus on the anime. Like, you could most certainly tell that when I was playing this game and trying to focus on telling the anime at the same time, I just couldn't do it. It is a big struggle. I need to play a game that requires less focus. We both had to pause. I literally was constantly jumping between different parts in the story.
Yep.
Just trying to explain what's going on and how this all like connects.
We'll probably figure it out because I think by the time we probably do the next one, I'll have my paycheck by then.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Definitely see if you can get Rocket League. It's just gonna make talking about it
or
so
at
much
least
easier.
My debit card, because if anything, I can go like.
Yeah.
But
and Rocket League's not that bad of a game either.
Or we could just try and come up with something else to chill. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is this. We finally did it. We finally started it.
We started it. Yes, we did.
We finally did it, and it's totally going different than we originally planned. Just because we realized we wanted to do a summary recap of what the thing actually is, which ends up taking like literally an hour or two.
Yep.
Because we're talking about 2 of them at once.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's gonna be it for this.
Maybe next time we'll only do 1 instead of 2. Who knows? I know we've already started doing High School DxD and Sword Art Online.